Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Wednesday, June the 27th, 2018. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses. We do not try to predict the market. What we do is we create plans, wait for the market to open up, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to. Then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the regular trading session. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Many trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So taking a look at yesterday we were looking for a balancing day. We were looking for, I was looking for a balancing day with a downward skew, but I did have my hypo 1 and my hypo 2 equally weighted because we were opening up near that microcomposite VPOC of the longer time frame at the 2250 area. So we had two main hypos that were equally weighted. One was a move up into the 32 and then a rotation down into the 1150 to test the open, and we had a zipper measured move down to, I think it was 850. And the other one was the opposite of that. Hypo 5 is basically what we got, which was I was looking for a tighter range. Even though it was 18 points of range, it was pretty tight for the most part. And then we did get the move up, put in a weak high up here at the 35 and a quarter. This high remains, to be a weak high, and we just sort of balanced out, closing, just above the VPOC and just above the microcomposite VPOC. Now, overnight, they started to make the move that we were looking for, which was a move down to, I said yesterday that we were likely to start to make a move towards the month open and see if the bears can take control and take us below the month open at 27.11 and a quarter and have a negative month. We basically were playing that out in the Globex. We went sideways, and then once Europe opened up, they started pushing us down. Got down to the 27.05, got the bounce back to the mid, and they were chopping the mid, and they were starting to push back down again. And then news came out that Trump was going to lighten up on his restrictions on the China tariffs and investment. And what do? We get this impulsive wave up, and basically start working. We're flagging up right now. Went in and put a new Globex high. So inventory is still net negative, but you've got to discount that based on the fact that between this and the durable goods and trade balance, that the context has changed. Now we do have a return to the scene of the crime down here at the 12. I've got my scene of the crime at 27.12, and we could drift back down there if we don't hold the 22 area, and I'll be looking to use that 22 as a over-under line. But let's just back up, take a look at the economic news. As I said, we had core durable goods came out, was slightly a miss, but the good trade balance was a fairly decent beat. So we kind of balanced things out, and same thing with durable goods orders. So not terribly negative. The market actually accepted the news pretty positively. We've got pending home sales at 10 o'clock, crude inventories and all the associates at 10:30. 11 o'clock, we've got Fed Coral speaking, and then we've got 12:15. We've got Rosengren, Fed speaking, the 5-year note auction at 1 o'clock, and then at 3 o'clock we've got Bank of Canada Governor Pelosi speaking. So fairly decent day of news. Again, most of this news is being driven the by the tariff news. So any tweet that comes out from Trump can revalue. So you just have to be careful in this environment. Now, each day I like to start my day with the same routine. And again, if you're watching the video, you might want to skip ahead to get to the hypos. But I think context is important in all things, and therefore I do the same routine, even as basic as some people tell me it is. I do it for a reason, because I want to remind myself each day where we are in terms of the larger time frame, and then work my way down, so I understand that even smaller trend changes may not affect the bigger picture, and give me targets on the larger time frame. So I use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. I'm looking for slope and separation, strength of the trend. Is price paralleling the 9? Is it challenging the 9 and the trend, or is it breaking the trend by a move through the 9 and the 20? And you can see that 14 months of one-time framing. February, we violated the one-time framing. They come down and they fight this 9, and then they bounce off of it in May and June. And so far in June, we've held above it, but we are seeing some weakness with that move down to test the month open yesterday and today. I'm sorry, Friday and today. Sorry, Monday and today. Jeez, I can't get my days straight. So the trend on the larger time frame doesn't even get challenged, okay, until we get down into the mid 2600s. So that would just be a normal pullback. On the weekly, we looked like we were getting a trend change, and then they took it back, and it looked like we're going to get continuation. And then, of course, now here we are below the 9, come down. We tested the 20, bounced the first time, but we are seeing some weakness and a possibility of this trend being changed on the weekly. On the daily, we have broken below the 9 and the 20, and we do have a daily FUBAR Mr. Sneaky. A move back to close the technical gap is probably going to be somewhere around the 45.50, which is our key line in the sand above, and that microcomposite value area high on the larger time frame. But right now we are in a possibility of a start of a downward trend. Even if we move up into the 47 to 45 area, right now the daily is showing us a possible trend change to the downside, and we need to take back the 9 and the 20 if that is to change the trend and get a continuation pattern up. Going to the intraday, the 4-hour, you can see that last couple sessions we've had this pretty strong downward trend. The news has changed the context slightly, and we're coming up and we're above the 9. We came up and challenged the 20, but we haven't got back above. So we'll be watching this 34.50 area as a possible clue to getting back the upward trend on the 4-hour. On the 30-minute, okay, we did take the 9 and the 20 back. We have a naked cross down here at the 27.20.50. This is likely to get challenged sometime in the RTH session. So keep an eye on that. And of course, if we get below the 20 area, we're below the microcomposite VPOC, and we're likely to get a move back towards the scene of the crime and test the open, as what we were doing before the auction got interrupted with this news. So taking a look at the structure and just a bit of context, we went in, we had this long upward trend, put in an unequalized high. We have a Globex high of 28.87 and a quarter, an RTH high all-time high of 28.84. They tried to hold value in the 2800s. They failed. They gapped down. They come all the way back down into a former balance area, find the buyers, rotate us back up, try to get back into the 2800s, fail at a former price acceptance level, come back down, and then start chopping, creating this large value area. Again, the value area high being that 27.4550. We get the VPOC, microcomposite VPOC, shift from the lower distribution to the upper distribution. The smaller time frame microcomposite VPOC agrees with that price. We get the gap out, we gap up, we balance for 2 days, accept price outside of value, get the continuation, and then they get up into the 96 area again, and at the 92 area, the sellers step in, rotate us down, test back down to the value area high and the price acceptance just before or just after the breakout. Then we rotate back up. The VPOC shifts on this microcomposite down to the 87, then down to the 75, and we fail to hold that. We come down, we try to hold value. The last value we tried to hold was at the 56, and then we gap down on Monday and come right back down, to the upper distribution, come down, test the other side of the upper distribution, rotate back up to the microcomposite VPOC, and then we get a balancing day, after a big move down, and they try to take it back down in the Globex, and the news brings us right back up. So we have a 2-day balance at the 25 area. We have a larger time frame balance at the 22. If we hold here, we've tested up to the 32.50. Again, if we can hold the 22, we're likely to balance out here again and then make a move up into that 45. And then if we get above the 45, get back into price discovery. The first major target above will be the 56 if we break out of the 45. Otherwise, we're likely to see some more chop here. I think we're more likely to see some more chop and a failure to hold the 22 and another push down to return to the scene of the crime and test. I think that the bears are going to try to make another run as they were in the Globex down to make June a negative month by closing below the 11.25, and we've only got 3 days left to do that. So I'm expecting a pretty big battle, between, every price is being contested in the RTH session in the last couple days. So even though the sellers have had the major control, the buyers are absorbing that and not allowing the sellers to remain in control. So key levels to pay attention to: 25 and 22.50, of course. 32. If we come up here and we accept this 32 and start moving it above it, then I'd be looking for a move up into the 39. That's the value area high of the smaller time frame, and then above the 39, a push up into the 45. Anything above 45, we go back into price discovery, and we're likely to get a quick move up into the 56.25. Where they tried to hold value last. If we don't hold the 22, the initial target is going to be that 13 to 11 area, and a return to the scene of the crime and a test of the month open. And then if we don't hold this 27.10, I'd be looking for a push down, and I don't think the 2700 is going to hold this next test. We're more likely to dip down into the 95.50 if not lower, and come down and possibly challenge this last fractal low down here at the 78.75 and a test of this microcomposite LVN. And if that doesn't hold, then we're likely to come down into this lower distribution and start chopping in this area. Again, this is a very blunt area with a lot of undetermined fair value. It means, what does that mean? It means that the auction is not determined where true value is in this distribution zone, and then we're likely to see this type of chop down here again. So in terms of the overnight inventory is somewhat mixed now. I would still say, I'd say it's probably 50-50 right now. We've just put in a new high, 33.75. Our daily ATR, our full session daily ATR, is running at 26.61. So off of the overnight low of 0550, which is all the way down here, we've already ran our daily ATR. Our daily ATR target is up at 32 and a quarter. And based on the overnight high, our daily downside ATR target, and I got to readjust this because we made a move off of the news, is, oh, that's wrong, 33.75. Seven and a quarter. So that's important to understand, because basically we've already traversed, okay, and basically taken out the daily ATR to the upside and to the downside. So that is going to lead to more chop. And we're likely, if we hold below the 32 and a quarter, we're likely to chop inside of the current daily range. And I would not think we take out the overnight low. If we do, okay, I would not fade this move down today. We're likely to get a bigger move down, and we could turn into a very big trend day. So just be careful. In terms of hypotheses, we are opening up at the above the two key levels, the microcomposite VPOC. This is a large 18-point range, but there is value here. So, and it's blunt value. So we've seen a lot of that lately. So we're likely to see, if we get below the 30 and we get down in this area, we're likely to see some wide range, 5 to 7 point rotations as balance down here. So just be careful. But my main hypothesis, because of the news, again, it's unfortunate, but we're in a situation where the context is fluid. So hypo 1 and hypo 2 again are going to have equal weight, but again, the overall context is we're back in the bigger balance. The sellers have got us back into the balance. I'm still looking for a move back towards that 27.11 and a quarter. So my main hypo for the day, hypo 1, open auction in range, just out of value, a push up into the 33 to 35, possibly false breakout, but somewhere up here, maybe even to the 39. I'm looking for the sellers to step back in, rotate us back down into the 30 area, chop this area here, and then push down into this 22 area, and then get late day probe back down towards this 12, and then probably balance out and close somewhere between the 15 and the 22 area. That is hypo 1. Hypo 2 is an open auction just outside of range, or just inside, just outside of value, but inside a range, or inside a range, inside of value, a push down into the 22, chop between 22 and 25, get a probe down to the 12, possibly down to the 07 and a quarter to 05, and then find buyers and rotate and come up. And I'm looking to close somewhere back in here between the 20 and the 25 area. Because of the news, my hypo 3 is going to get flipped over from where it was to basically my hypo 4 becomes my hypo 3. Open auction in range, a push down, failure to take out the value area low in the 22 buyers step in early, rotate us up, break out of the 35 and a quarter, chop between 35 and 39, and then push up into the 45, and then get a break above and push up into the 53 area and close this gap up here and close up there. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4, open auction, failure to break above the 35 and a quarter, sellers step in early, rotate us down into the 22, fail, push through down to the scene of the crime, start chopping between the 12 and the 05, chop in this area, and then push down to the 2700 and fail and come down into this 95 to 92 area, and then start to base down here and grind back up and close somewhere between the 2705 and the 2698.50. That is my hypo 4. And because of the situation, another hypo 5, and we get another inside day and chop between the 35 and the 17 and a quarter and go sideways. Those are my hypotheses for the ES. Gold, we were talking about gold chopping yesterday and fighting the 55 and the 59. We did push down, didn't quite get to the 55, but we basically chopped around that 59 area. In the Globex so far in gold, we pushed down to the 55 and held, and we're rotating back up into the 59. I'm expecting a lot of the same in gold today, and more chop in this area. And if we can come up and accept this 59, 60 area, I'm looking for them to start to grind their way back up into the 65 to 66, and then possibly up into the 70. If we don't hold the 59 and we come down to the 55 area, I don't think that this is going to hold this time, and I'd be looking for a move down to 51. I don't think we get much lower than the 51 today, but you never know. But we've extended this move down beyond the average rotation on the larger time frame in gold. So we either snap and go lower and get a 60, 65 to 75 point move down, or we start to grind our way back up towards that 71 area. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.